All right, I'm here with Jim O'Keefe, and he brought his 1957 Oldsmobile Super 88. All right, Jim, show me around. I don't know enough about this to do the talking.
Okay, it's 1957 Super 88. Original paint.
No way.
Everything's original. J2 Rocket motor engine.
Well, let's walk around and look at it. It's got a lot of chrome.
It does that.
And 57 was kind of the last year, kind of the series, I guess, to some extent. First thing that catches me is just as a hardtop, when you roll down those side windows,
Looks great.
It's just got quite a unique look with that dip in the side there.
Oh, yeah.
That's gorgeous. All right, well, let's pop the hood. A lot of my viewers want to see under the hood. We're expecting you didn't do an LS swap on this one.
No, there's no LS swap.
Okay.
This is an original motor.
So this is a
Golden Rocket.
371 original motor.
Golden Rocket, yep.
Wow.
J2.
A J2.
So it's got 3 2 barrels.
It's got 3 2 barrels. I'm going to try to get a shot of that. That is quite unique. So that intake manifold handles all 3. So you got the 3 normally wing nuts on there. You got one
3.
at the moment.
Yep, lost 2.
Lost 2. Those are replaceable. I'm not worried about that.
Right.
And it's got a 6-volt generator. That is so cool. Power steering. So this was an optioned up car.
Exactly.
Okay, let me interrupt this walk around with a few quick things on this Rocket V8. Was a pretty big deal. It was a hot rod. It was faster than most other cars on the road. It really was. And 0 to 60 time around 8 seconds. Really, really moved. And back at that time, 12 seconds was considered pretty good. And 18 seconds, 20 seconds for economy cars was very, very normal. So that's a thing all by itself. The progressive linkage was kind of a problem because the center carburetor would be doing all the work. And if an owner wouldn't really dive into it deep and open up those other carbs, they would get gummed up, and that became a problem. And then they would just block off or remove the outer carburetors and derate the thing, and that's all you had. So that was one situation that was a problem. Another problem was Oldsmobile was into NASCAR back at this time. And this package, which, by the way, slightly beat Pontiac to market. Pontiac had their Tri-Power setup, and Oldsmobile managed to get to the market a little ahead of them. So that's also another little unknown fact. But to create this, not only did they add the carburetors, they also used thinner head gaskets, of all things, to give it a little bit better compression ratio, 10 to 1 instead of 9.5 to 1. So all that together caused this thing to be very fast, and NASCAR was getting very concerned about all the increases in speed. So halfway through the 57 NASCAR season, they eliminated multiple carburetors, they eliminated superchargers and fuel injection. So all that fun came to a halt, and the whole reason for this setup by Oldsmobile was kind of defeated. As a result, only 2,000 or 2,500 of these engine setups were ever sold, and they were only offered in 57 and 1958. That's the only time they were ever offered. This is a very rare car. It was rare when it was new. How many are even left? I don't know, but can't be very many. All right, back to the walk around. Now the Super 88, was that kind of the shorter or the longer wheelbase?
A longer wheelbase.
Longer. So this was kind of a luxury sport situation.
Yep, luxury 2-door.
So do you know how much horsepower this thing came with, approximately?
No.
Over 300, I'll bet.
But
we'll look that up. I might put it on the screen.
All right. Cool.
Okay, Jim. And how long have you had this car?
We've had it 6 years, I believe.
6 years now.
Yeah. Still original paint, so original everything inside.
Original paint. But let's look at the interior first. This fabric is amazing. And look at this instrument panel. Automatic transmission. Now we'll notice that it has drive, second, low, and then reverse.
Right.
See, that might throw someone off.
On these old cars, on these Oldsmobiles, the reverse was always the
last thing down there. So I guess if you're going between reverse and first, back and forth, that's what I'm saying. If you're stuck in the mud or the snow, they're handy, right?
Right.
I think that was a real thing at the time. And you've got three pieces of glass for the rear window.
Right. So this is kind of the cool thing here.
it
gas
pops
tank
up for the gas.
filler underneath. Years ago, they always hid the gas filler,
It
which
was
was
kind
always
of part
nice.
of the fun, wasn't it?
It was fun, yeah,
And you have backup lights. I don't think reverse lights were totally common back then.
right.
And what about
Yep.
these vents down here in the bumper?
Those are exhaust,
Exhaust.
yeah, dual exhaust.
That's so cool. They've got kind of kind of a feature where they've got those ridges in the
Yep,
trim that matches the exhaust.
yes.
Beautiful. And now these ridges in the trunk deck go up the back and across. That is really quite the style.
And you can see the paint is kind of worn off of the ridges just from polishing.
Yeah, cleaning and
Stuff like
polishing,
that.
it wears
Yep.
down, but the
Yep.
original paint is really still there. It's
Still
beautiful.
there.
And the trim, all the chrome on this trim is ridiculous. Okay, so now let's talk about this little top piece of trim in the door.
Okay, so the door, that flips open when you open the door. And it also, when you shut the window,
Okay,
that'll encompass the window.
so as an extra way of sealing
Seal
around
that
the
off,
window.
right.
Interesting. Well, whereas a roll up, when there's not a door, it obviously fits right up in
Yep.
there.
Isn't that,
That's pretty cool, Jim.
that's a little fun thing there. Yeah,
I love that. Look at those door panels with all the different colors and pieces.
yeah, right. A lot of
And
color.
again, it's an original car. I mean, that's really a big story. You have power brakes. I see that. And it looks like you have a Wonder Bar radio.
Yep.
That's cool. And the clock up top. That is very cool. We're just finishing a video. We'll be done in a second. No problem. You can't possibly know. All right. This is such a cool car, Jim. And are these vacuum or electric wipers?
The vacuum.
They are vacuum.
Yep.
And we're back around to this Oldsmobile J2 Rocket. That is such a cool engine. And it's the original engine, and it starts and runs good.
Beautiful. Everything runs beautiful.
Wow.
Goes down the road really, really nice.
Very good. Well, I have a feeling you're going to enjoy this for a long time, Jim. Thanks for bringing it to the show and
You
letting
bet.
us have a look.
Oh, thanks for
Appreciate
coming out.
that. All righty.